Egypt. Now my question to you would be, this last particular uprising, would you call it a revolution? And if it is, what number of revolution is it in Egypt?
Thank you, Chip. My view is that revolution do not take place overnight, and it's a lengthy process full of challenges, ups and downs. Now, while what has happened recently in Egypt, the removal of the Egyptian president, technically, as a human rights lawyer, he called it a coup, an unconstitutional removal or unconstitutional change of power. And of course, the AU itself has taken that position and has had Egypt suspended from the AU because of that. And my own government has also taken that position. For me, that would be a very simplistic analysis of what has happened in Egypt, which has led to the removal of the president. We all know how the story began. After 30 years of the authoritarian regime in Egypt, people of Egypt basically rose against the government and removed this president, Mubarak. And then the new president came into power with a very slim majority of about 52%. And within a year, there were many problems. And for me, this is actually where the crux of the matter is. That when you are in a transition from an authoritarian regime to a democracy, what are the key issues and what are the key challenges which have to be addressed in order to avoid people going backwards, or in order to avoid counter-revolutionary tendencies and many other challenges. And clearly from my own perspective, I think President Morsi and Islamic Brotherhood made a couple of mistakes. One, this is a transition. We are in a country which has not had democracy for a long time, and therefore you need to be very sensitive in how you move forward, especially when you have a very slim majority of 52%. And then, secondly, I think what should really have happened in Egypt, like in my own country, there should really have been a much more of a government of nationalism because of the warring faction, the different factions, and in order to stabilize the country before we get into real issues. And that did not happen. And then thirdly, the constitution which was adopted by President Morsi and the Islamic Brotherhood was not fully accepted by the Egyptian people. The president outside elections is through an impeachment, which requires 2/3 majority. In other constitutions, like my own country, that you can also remove a president by a vote of no confidence, and being removed by a simple majority, and the president should resign. So in this case, when there was unhappiness over President Morsi's style of governance, as well as increasing intolerance to other areas, and basically the whole issue of pluralism, my sense is that Egyptian people who were behind the revolution basically got frustrated and probably realized that they cannot wait for the next elections to deal with this man. And that's why there was a massive protest in the country before his removal. And of course, the army being what it is, simply took advantage. So it's actually a very complex situation in the sense that there's definitely a need for democratization of the process in Egypt. There's a need for greater tolerance and democracy. At the same time, you have this army, which was part of the problem for the last 30 years and has been receiving massive funding from the American government for so long. And like we saw at the beginning of the revolution, when they saw the wind was blowing in this direction, they came on the side of the people and were seen as heroes. Then again, when people become unhappy with this second government, again they take the side and appear as if they are friends of the people. And I think for me, when we discuss the issue of Egypt, we also have to look into the issue of the role of the army and whose interests are very important. But for me, more important is that the Egyptian people need to accept that they are in a transition and really have to be able to deal with transitional issues in a better manner. Otherwise, we have this kind of problem. And I think mistakes were made in not really looking at other models of how you deal with transition. You cannot, after 30 years of an undemocratic government, wake up the next morning and act like you are a fully grown democracy and you fight to the name. Finally, for me, what is very good is that Egyptian people need to put their partisan interests, they need to put national interests ahead of partisan interests. It's kind of sad now that you see people are basically fighting over narrow interests and putting the whole country at risk. And finally, for me as an African, Egypt is very important, and we need a stable Egypt as Africa. And I think this is where the other problem lies, that maybe the EU itself has not played an important role in basically helping to ensure a smooth transition into democracy by Egypt. And that was this